Welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show that looks at the highs and the lows from around world football. This weekend, Patrick Van Straten is in the building. Pato, first winner, who is it? Where are we going?
It's Chelsea. We're going to the Hawthorns. We're at that time of the season where leagues start to get wrapped up. And Chelsea, frankly, have had this one wrapped up for a while. But they made it official with a 1-0 win over the Baggies on Friday. Now, before the game, West Brom were pretty confident. They'd won 3 of the last 5 games against Chelsea at the Hawthorns. They'd only lost 1 of them, but they got absolutely pummeled in this game.
They did. Chelsea was very good.
Chelsea had 68% of the possession. Chelsea had 24 shots to West Brom's 7. They'd completed 500 passes. West Brom completed under 200.
That's ridiculous.
But they defended like a Pulis team in the first half. Chelsea had 14 shots before half-time, but only 1 of them was on target. So West Brom were restricting them from getting chances in good positions. In the end, it fell to Michy Batshuayi, who'd only scored 1 Premier League goal before this. He netted the winner in the 81st minute with Chelsea's second to last shot. But look, how has this been accomplished? It's probably been the switch to that back 3 and the wing-back formation. Now, Chelsea have moved to that after a 3-0 drubbing at the hands of Arsenal. Had to bring that up. And the key men this season have been N'Golo Kante, who's been absolutely sensational, mopping up in defence and transitioning them into attack. And of course, Eden Hazard, who once again, he's actually been better this season than he was 2 years ago under Mourinho, I think. Plus, they've had the same injury luck they had in that second to last season under Mourinho.
100%.
Like they were able to use a very small squad, no European football, enabled them to use their best team week in, week out, and they've wrapped up the title. It's a tremendous performance.
Absolutely tremendous. This is actually their 6th top flight title, their 5th Premier League title. Only Manchester United have won more than them. Of course, Man United have won 13 though, which is a ridiculous number. And Conte becomes the 4th Italian manager to win the English top flight after Ancelotti, Roberto Mancini, and last year, Claudio Ranieri. They were really good on the day, although West Brom, I was actually at the game and I've never seen a team made up of 11 defensive midfielders, because that is what West Brom are. Every is a defensive midfielder.
Everyone's about 36 as well.
Rondon is the clumsiest footballer I've ever seen. It looked like he was Bambi on ice at the weekend. He should be a defensive midfielder. Honestly, I don't know what he's doing. James McClean, he could play in defensive midfield. Chris Brunt, he could be a defensive midfielder.
James McClean might be the dirtiest player in the Premier League.
Absolute filth. They are turgid to watch, West Brom. I don't know how people get through it each week. But, as I just said a minute ago, Michy Batshuayi gets the goal and he becomes the 3rd Belgian player in consecutive seasons to score the title-deciding goal. Obviously, he decided against West Brom. Eden Hazard was the man who defeated Tottenham Hotspur at Stamford Bridge to win Leicester City the title the season before, and he did it the season before that as well, when he scored against Crystal Palace in 2014-15.
That is an interesting fact.
Stat there. Conte is the 4th manager as well to lift the Premier League in his 1st season in England. Mourinho's done it, Ancelotti's done it, and Pellegrini's done it. He's got an incredible record at Chelsea. I wonder whether he can take it into the Champions League next season. If he does, he's going to really need to develop that squad over the summer, because like you said, they've had all injuries. Literally zip injuries. Antonio Conte has now won the league title in 4 consecutive seasons as a club coach. Of course, he took over Italy in between Juventus and Chelsea. He won it in 11-12, 12-13, 13-14, and now 16-17. Hats off Antonio Conte and to Chelsea.
Man United are our first losers of the week. They lost 2-1 away at Tottenham Hotspur in the final game ever at White Hart Lane. Now, Tottenham have gone the entire season unbeaten at home. It's the first time they've done that since 1965. 17 wins, 2 draws, goals for 47, goals against 9.
This season?
9, 12 clean sheets, 53 points. It's pretty damn good. By the way, that's more points at home than someone like Bayern Munich have taken. Bear in mind they play more games, but still, it's unbelievable. Mauricio Pochettino, the first Spurs manager to oversee consecutive home wins over Man United in the Premier League. A little bit convoluted, but still impressive. And what a send-off. Every Spurs legend came out. Davids, Peter Crouch. I mean, Ledley King, that's fair enough. Like, I understand Ledley King there. Robbie Keane, even. Berbatov can get on board. But they might as well have brought out Benoit Asuakoto. It got absolutely ridiculous at the end. Unbelievable.
Great send-off.
But the send-off was really the performance. Harry Kane, great to watch. Dele Alli. Christian Eriksen, who I maintain has been their best player all season. He was absolutely sensational again. Harry Kane has now scored against 24 of the 25 Premier League clubs that he's faced. He cannot stop scoring. He's so amazing. Clinical. His little touch to get it past David De Gea was absolutely sensational. Ali tore United's midfield apart. Really great in transition. 17 goals, 5 assists in the Premier League this season. I'm not even sure he's a midfielder anymore. I think he basically is a second striker now, but he did drop deep in this game and United simply couldn't handle him. What do you think of United, Nate?
Well, where to start? Jesus. Shambolic, defensive, gutless, dull, boring performance, second best in every area on the pitch. That was Man United's first away goal versus the top 6 opponent under Jose Mourinho. It's taken them 521 minutes. That is absolutely disgraceful. Wayne Rooney.
It's bleak.
Wayne Rooney is earning £350,000 a week. Let that sink in. He was awful. Awful. He played in a midfield role. I think he won 0 out of 6 attempted tackles. This week he won 0 out of 7 attempted tackles against Arsenal. So far off the pace. The guy's already in the MLS, in his headspace. He's absolutely shambolic on the day. But he wasn't helped by a really strange formation that saw Tuanzebe playing in midfield. He was right back against Arsenal, then in midfield. Slowest midfield probably on planet Earth. Tuanzebe, Carrick and Rooney meant that Martial was completely and utterly isolated up front. And this is a guy who, since he joined Manchester United, has scored or has been involved in more goals than any other Premier League player for Manchester United. 15 goals, 9 assists. And he was so isolated, he was completely by himself. We were lumping balls up to him. Jan Vertonghen was throwing him around like a 3-year-old. It was absolutely obscene. Tuanzebe in central midfield as well. Good defensive player, but not the best in transition. Can't push balls vertically through the lines to the likes of Juan Mata. So he was almost completely redundant. And it's no surprise that Manchester United have been linked today really heavily with James Rodriguez. Loads of Colombian reports and Spanish reports saying he's come to a gentleman's agreement. I personally think that's a load of and that he'll end up at PSG. But he would be a really, really good signing, wouldn't he, Pato? Do you think?
Well, yeah, if you've got Pogba who can get the ball to Rodriguez. I mean, the issue that you've had is that this season, Zlatan Ibrahimovic has had to be your main scorer and your main creator.
Yes.
Next season, you're not going to have Ibrahimovic to create the chances, and Pogba can't do it all on his own. He will get marked out of games. You'd assume Mkhitaryan's form will improve and that he'll actually get a proper run in the team. But yeah, James Rodriguez, they could do worse than a kind of ball-hogging number 10. He would be quite interesting in that role. It depends how much money you're going to have to spend because there's quite a lot of work to be done on this squad. But will it be a successful season if you go ahead and win the Europa League?
Yes, but the fact that it comes down to 90 minutes of football that it's a successful season is not very good.
That's true.
In my opinion, domestically, it's been an utter failure. If we win the Europa League by some miracle, then it's been a success, but it comes down to 90 minutes. But what do you guys think at home? Has it been a success this season for Manchester United, or has Jose Mourinho been an utter failure? You can vote in the poll above my head right now.
Our next winner of the week is Neymar, but Joe's going to kick us off by talking a little bit about the Barcelona game as they ran out 4-1 winners over Las Palmas.
Yeah, it was actually a little bit more even than that suggests. Obviously, they had equal shots. Both of them had 11 and both had 5 on target, actually. Barcelona just extremely clinical. 5 shots on target, 4 goals. You don't see that very often. And they had 62% of the possession, which you would expect from a Barcelona team. But they are free scoring, to say the least, recently. 21 goals in their last 5 games under Luis Enrique, really giving him a good send-off. And now that win takes them top of La Liga on head-to-head. Of course, it's not done in the same way the Premier League is, which is done on goals difference. This is done on head-to-head. However, Real Madrid do have a game in hand. That is against Celta Vigo away on Wednesday, though, and that's not the easiest place to go. Of course, Celta Vigo beat Barcelona at home earlier in the season, and then they've got to go to Malaga on Sunday. So it's coming down to the very last day. But Pato, Neymar had an incredible performance on the day against Las Palmas, didn't he?
Yeah, well, a few months ago we were talking about Neymar perhaps having a slightly disappointing season, but what he's done this year has been great when the side have needed him and when other players haven't been at their best. We saw it, of course, in that second leg against PSG, where he put in an absolutely world-class performance to drag them through to the quarter-finals. And in this game, he did it again. Las Palmas, not an easy place to go, but let me tell you his stats. 3 shots, all of them on target, 3 goals, 100% of his dribbles completed, 3 chances created, and that produced 1 assist. This is his 4th hat-trick for Barcelona, his 3rd in La Liga, his first actually away from home. And despite that slow start to the season I just mentioned, he's now been involved in 19 goals and 19 assists this season for Barcelona. That's very, very impressive. 62% of his dribbles are successful. And this is a guy who we've talked about in the past, potentially being a little bit wasteful, potentially getting dispossessed more than he should. Yeah. But he's been key. I mean, in his last 10 games, he's contributed to 11 goals. He scored 7 himself and laid on 4 for his teammates. And in those 10 games, he's been man of the match 5 times.
That's ridiculous.
What a run-in he's having, and they need him to. But only 3 teams have scored more than 100 goals in the league this season. They're Barcelona, Real Madrid and Monaco, and Barcelona have scored the most of all of them. They really need to thank Neymar because they were giving him some grief at the beginning of the season, and he's doing his best to see that Luis Enrique goes out on a high. But will they be able to overhaul Real Madrid? Los Blancos only need a point and a win from their last 2 games to wrap up that title. What do you guys think? Let us know in the poll just up there. Barca or Real Madrid?
Our next loser comes from Germany, and it's Werder Bremen, Pato. Tell me about the game.
Yeah, well, they lost 5-3 at home to Hoffenheim, but they must have been pretty confident going into this game. It's only the 2nd time they've actually lost to Hoffenheim. In the Bundesliga, they've beaten them 9 times and drawn 7 times.
That's ridiculous.
And they've averaged 2 points per Bundesliga game against Hoffenheim. That's their joint best return against a current top-flight outfit. Level with Freiburg. Interesting stats. But look, they've won their last 5 Bundesliga home games. That's their best run of consecutive victories at home since 2007-2008. And actually in the game, they did their best. They had 50% of possession, 16 shots to 16 shots, 84% pass accuracy to 85. It's only when you look at the score that you see how bleak it is. They got the shit kicked out of them, didn't they, Joe?
They did, and you have to take your hats off to Hoffenheim because they have had an incredible season under young Julian Nagelsmann, who looks set for big, big things in the future. If you can hear drilling in the background, by the way, I apologise. There's shitloads of building work going on. There's nothing we can do about it. Like I said though, they came 15th last season, and now they have the potential to finish 3rd in the Bundesliga if Dortmund's final game isn't a win. Of course, they're both level on points, or if they outscore Dortmund by 5 goals, which probably isn't going to happen. Look, Hoffenheim have scored in each of their last 18 league games. That's a club record and the longest ongoing run in the entire division, better than Bayern Munich. And, like you said, Pato, they're not great against Werder Bremen. This is their first victory over them in 7 years.
Jesus.
So Nagelsmann producing some genius there. Zalai, I think you pronounce it, not too sure, is the highest scoring Hungarian in the Bundesliga history. He's now got 40 goals for the club. And the last time that Hoffenheim scored 3 times before the interval, as they did in this game, was December 2014. 3 years ago nearly, and that was a 5-0 win over Hertha Berlin. And you have to take your hat off to the likes of Kramaric, who was sold by Leicester, wasn't he? They opted for Slimani, an awful signing at £30 million, one of the most expensive Africans in history. Not been great, but Kramaric has been killing it in the Bundesliga. He scored the 2nd and the 4th goals and has now got 12 of his 15 goals this season in 2017. He's really kicked on since the turn of the year. Look, the last time that Hoffenheim were ahead 2-0 this early in a Bundesliga away game was 7 years ago. Julian Nagelsmann is working absolute miracles with an average squad. If he goes to a club like Dortmund, I think he's going to be an absolute world beater of a manager in the future.
Our last winners of the week are Liverpool. They really pulled it out of the bag when they needed a win.
Yeah, looks like they're going to clinch top 4 now unless they majorly fuck up against Middlesbrough at home on the final day, which could be possible, and it's probably more likely than if they were to play Chelsea. But look, this game, what a demolition. West Ham just couldn't turn up like they did against Tottenham Hotspur at the Olympic Stadium just the week before. 4-0, and Liverpool were dominant. 26 shots to 10, 67% possession, and over double West Ham's attempted passes. Liverpool have enjoyed going to London this season. They've won 4 of the 5 games they've played down there. Of course, they drew just 1 against Tottenham Hotspur. And they've gone unbeaten in the capital across an entire league season for the first time since 88-89. Jurgen Klopp must be absolutely delighted with that statistic. Liverpool's 11 shots as well on target. 11 shots on target were the most that West Ham have faced in a Premier League game since 2015.
Oh my God.
Absolute domination. And Philippe Coutinho was running riot on the day, Pato.
Yeah, he was the clear man of the match. He had 6 shots. That's the most of anyone on the field. He had an 89% pass accuracy because he was playing in quite a deep role, completed an incredible through ball to put them ahead in the first half. Daniel Sturridge rounding Adrian and slotting it home. He got 2 goals and an assist. That's actually the first time since he joined Liverpool that he's been directly involved in 3 goals in a game. That's hard to believe. He's had 2 Premier League braces this season. One was against Arsenal on the first day, and this was in a game that was crucial to keep Arsenal at bay in that hunt for the top 4. So he's been a real thorn in the side of the Gunners this season. He's been directly involved in 6 of Liverpool's last 10 Premier League goals, with 4 goals and 2 assists. He scored more goals from outside the area since his Premier League debut than any other player. He's bagged 14.
There's a shot.
It's absolutely unreal. Like, his numbers are nuts, and yeah, it looks like they'll just be able to close out the season with an easy win at home against Middlesbrough, and Arsenal will be in 5th place. I mean, look, I'd like to believe that Callum Chambers is going to do a job on Coutinho to make sure that we make the top 4, but somehow I doubt that's going to happen. Now, the woodwork did its job in this game as well. It was hit 5 times. Andre Ayew hit it twice in the first half. West Ham actually did have their chances in the first 45 minutes.
Andre Ayew.
He is dreadful. He's better than his brother, he's better than his dad, and he's still the worst football player that I've ever seen. Just score when I need you to score, Andre. It's the one thing I need from you. Just put one in the back of the net. It's only Mignolet. Just bang it in, idiot. But now the one little bit of silver lining for Arsenal fans is that Philippe Coutinho might move to Barcelona finally. Get rid of the bastard. He was talking about it this week. His agents mentioned it as well. It looks like Barca won it. I think he's been on the front cover of Sport, the Barcelona newspaper, 5 times over the last couple of months. So they are really going ham to get Coutinho in. But it looks like they're going to get Champions League football, and they've got the little Brazilian to thank. Well done.
Our final loser of the weekend, it's Inter Milan again, Pato.
Yeah, they lost 2-1 to Sassuolo at home. Really, really bad stuff. Inter Milan fans, not best pleased at the moment, which is not that surprising, given that Inter have not won in 8 games. They brought along a banner, the Inter fans, saying, "You don't deserve our support. We came to say hello. Now we're off to have lunch." It's the most Italian protest ever. They left after 20 minutes, so they didn't even see Sassuolo score in the 36th minute, which was probably just as well. Otherwise, there'd have been a riot in Milan.
Absolute riot.
They're down in 8th. They're 29 points off Juventus at the top of the table. Whoever comes in next season has got such a big job on their hands. But the thing is, they seem to be aiming so high with their managerial targets. I mean, the one good thing about it is if you take over, things can only get better because they've clearly down tools.
Yeah, they've absolutely down tools. I mean, they still don't have a permanent manager at the helm. I feel so sorry for Stefano Vecchi, the youth team manager. He's obviously been given the final 3 games of the season. This is his 2nd spell as caretaker manager already. They have now gone through 4 managers since 2016. Roberto Mancini, he's a goner. Frank de Boer, long gone. Pioli, he's a goner, and Vecchi is in his 2nd spell as caretaker boss. There's rumours that are set to approach Mauricio Pochettino and Diego Simeone. Why on earth would either of those team managers take over at Inter Milan? Honestly, it's a ridiculous step down. I understand that Diego Simeone is interested because he used to play that and he's got a deep connection there. But Pochettino, come off it. Inter are way off the pace. I understand they've got Chinese owners and bags full of money, but they're 8th in Serie A. They have completely uninspiring football. I think it would potentially be the worst move in managerial history if Pochettino went from Tottenham Hotspur to Inter Milan, or if Diego Simeone went from Atletico Madrid to Inter Milan. They're a great club with massive history, but Jesus Christ, just get someone in, get them a bit of stability, start to rebuild them, start challenging for a league title, and then you can go for that. Don't go from 8th to one of the 5 best managers in the world at the helm of this club. It's fucking ridiculous.
I like it. I mean, they're swinging for the fences.
I've had enough.
If it came off and they got Simeone, then it would work out for them. But like you, I don't see it happening. Who do you guys think is going to be Inter Milan's next manager? I know everyone says Simeone, but here we can't quite believe it. Let us know in the comments below.
So that's it for what has been the worst episode of Winners and Losers we have ever shot. I've never stumbled over so many words in my life. But Pato, what should people do next on Euro Roundup?
They should go and check out Euro Roundup, as you said. They should check out Sevilla, Bayern Munich, Juventus, Monaco. It's an absolute stonker.
Sounds great, mate. I'll be watching that later. And as ever, please do like and subscribe.
Catch you next time.